ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Packers, 49ers. That's a bad man. It's a bad man. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. When the 49ers scored that touchdown with 37 ticks left, the only thing I could say was you done effed up. And I was thinking to myself, and with football players in particular, I know it's tough because when you're in that moment, you want to score. You're not thinking about situational football. You just want to take the lead. You want to give your team a chance. But with all three of your timeouts in that particular situation, when Kyle Juszczyk got contacted around the 2-yard line, it was in his best interest to go down at that point because there was probably a 3% chance they weren't going to win the game because at that point you could run it. He got the first down. You could run it 3 times because you got 3 timeouts. The object was to make sure that you score without leaving Aaron Rodgers a chance to beat you. So really, under 20 seconds was what you were shooting for. They had no timeouts, and I was ready to come up here and give this long, drawn-out War and Peace soliloquy on how you don't waste second-half timeouts. And then it didn't come back to bite them in the tuchus because the fact of the matter is the 49ers didn't know the rules to the game. Rule number 1, never give elite-level NFL quarterbacks time to beat you when all they need is a field goal. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, don't give up massive chunks over the middle of the football field. I know you want them to burn clock, but they had plenty of time, just like they did, to run up and spike it. If he wants 13 and he wants to get out of bounds, knock yourself out. But what you don't want to do there is give up 25 or 30 like they did essentially. They started at the 25 and they 24-yard completion to basically midfield at the Packers 49-yard line. Just like that with 20 seconds left. Now, it can still work the middle of the football field. Now, there was an incompletion after that with 16 seconds. But again, still plenty enough time to spike it and get the field goal team on, and they did. So it kills me when you get in those situations, teams stop playing their regular defense and go to this base prevent defense, and it's like you're inviting the other team to take as much yardage as they want without penalty. Oh, we just, if it was 15 seconds left, yeah, you can have the middle of the field. You do whatever the hell you want to do. It's 37 seconds. Play your regular defense, for crying out loud. That's rule number 2. I'm really disappointed in Kyle Shanahan. We'll get into that a little bit later. I was ready to also come up here and talk about how bad Jimmy Garoppolo stinks. And I've been a Jimmy Garoppolo supporter for years. I've been keeping everybody off with a long stick, poking them like, hey, stay back. You're going to leave Jimmy alone. Stay back. I'm ready to put the stick down, and I'm just going to let him through and let him bombard Jimmy because even though he threw that touchdown pass at the end, Jimmy does some bullshit. When you put pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, he gets scared and he panics. And he's inaccurate. The only thing that saves Jimmy Garoppolo is that damn release. It's lightning quick. He can throw from different multiple angle slots and arm slots. And so he gets away with some tomfoolery. But Jimmy Garoppolo isn't as accurate. He doesn't make good decisions under duress. He when pressure comes, his eyes drop and he starts pinballing around people and he's just jittery. And that fumble, you could argue, cost them the game. That was a bad turnover. Bad, terrible. What are you doing right there? Anyway, Aaron freaking Rodgers. That guy right there. I always say this about Aaron Rodgers. He is, to me, without a doubt, Like, and you know what? I shouldn't say that because in the regular season, I'll say it that way. That's the perfect way to describe it. In the regular season, I wouldn't rather in the regular season. Let me make sure I say this correctly. There isn't another quarterback I would rather have than Aaron Rodgers in a situation like that. Not Mahomes, not Brady, not, any Wilson, none of them. Give me Aaron Rodgers in the regular season. In the postseason, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still reeling off of that Tampa Bay loss last year. I don't know about him in the postseason. In the regular season, there isn't another quarterback I'd take over Aaron Rodgers in that situation. You don't have any timeouts, 37 seconds. You need a field goal, 1 minute left, no timeouts. You need a touchdown. Give me Aaron Rodgers in the regular season. And he showed it again why. I don't understand why teams decide in those moments, we're just going to give you whatever you want over the middle of the field, but you can't get out of bounds, as if the middle of the field isn't just as dangerous as going out of bounds. I still, for the life of me, like I feel like NFL coaches make football a lot harder than it has to be. I would have essentially gone, man, 2 deep safeties, across the board, and I would have come with some pressure. They spread you out, and they decide they want to go 5 wide. Okay, well then, I may have to go single high safety, but I'm definitely coming with something. You're not gonna just sit back there and wait for somebody to come open in zone coverage 25 yards down the field. I'll never understand that. I'm gonna die by the blitz. I'm not saying go full Greg Williams, bring the kitchen sink like the Ravens did on Monday night in week 1 against the Raiders and get beat over the top with no safety help. That's not what I'm saying. But damn if I'm gonna sit back in my soft ass prevent defense, keep everything in front of us and make sure we protect the sidelines and let Aaron Rodgers get 25 over the middle of the football field and spike it with 20 seconds left. That's bullshit. That's how you lose the game. Anyway, I digress. What a football game. 49ers hang tough. They were on the verge of getting blown out, and that old Belichick double dip theory really came into play. You get the big return that set up the drive that led to a touchdown right before the half. You get the football after halftime. You score another touchdown. I thought the officials were hit or miss in this game. The Packers had some big penalties. Like Aaron was just throwing the shit up on 3rd down, and they were bailing them out. And I thought the 49ers got the benefit of the whistle a couple of times. That penalty on Brandon Ayuk over the middle of the football field with Eric Stokes, come on, give me a break. And maybe that was the football gods evening out things when they forced Jimmy Garoppolo, with the fumble, throwing it backwards. Maybe the football gods were evening it out and balancing the scales, because that was a bullshit-ass call. You know what I'm saying? Like, he barely touched the man. Yeah, he pushed him a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and act like he didn't, but he barely touched the man, okay? So I thought that was a bogus call. I thought the Jair Alexander roughing was trash. So I just thought the officials, man, they made some calls. And then how about right before the half? That's intentional grounding, man. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Garoppolo, that's what I'm talking about with Jimmy. When shit goes down, he panics. That's intentional grounding. They should have never gotten that opportunity to put Trey Lance on the field, to run it in with no time left. That should have been the end of the first half. They should have gotten 0 points. 0 points. They got bailed out by the officials because Jerome Boger didn't want to make that call. And he knew it was intentional ground. There was nobody around. It wasn't a running back or anything in that vicinity where he threw the football down. And Matt LaFleur had every right to be frustrated and upset by that no call. Look, I thought the officials were hit or miss in this game, but I digress. Big win for the Packers. I mean, the thing that always kills me, and I've said this, you guys have heard me say this a million times, and I think I've said this when they've played the 49ers, because every time they lose to the 49ers, it's the same old song. Same song. Same song. I'm not going to let Devontae Adams beat me. If Alan Lazard wants to have a career night, have at it, man. If Valdez-Scantling wants to go ape shit, knock yourself out, bro. No, seriously. Go ahead and knock yourself out. All right? Randall Cobb wants to reintroduce himself to Packers fans on a Sunday night. Go ahead, 18. Make it happen. But what I'm not going to do is let 17 get me. And they let 17 get them again. Feel like Heathcliff. You know what Spike said after Heathcliff beat him up again? You know what his owner said? Spike, he said, his owner's name is Muggsy. And Muggsy said to Spike, how could you let that cat link you again? You know what? I'm ashamed. He's like, I'm mortified. That's how I feel about the 49ers defense. And look, they are thin in the secondary. That's going to be their undoing this season. If they end up 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, and they miss out on the postseason, it'll be because their secondary is suspect and they got injuries and they are thin back there. That'll be their undoing. But you have to find a way to make somebody other than 17 beat you. And I can tell you this, Aaron Rodgers missed some throws to 17 tonight. Like that last third down that they ended up having a punt on, when Devontae Adams is screaming down the sideline on a corner route, wide open, he ran the 7 route, and the safety's coming over late, and Aaron just airmailed it. If he throws that thing towards the sidelines or back shoulder faded, that's an easy completion for a first down. How is 17 not having 2 guys on him at all times? Somebody else has got to beat me. Somebody's got to beat me. Somebody else other than 17, but they don't seem to understand that premise, I guess. And every time they play the Packers, 17 gets them. I don't understand. I don't understand. But I never will. Maybe it's harder than I think, but I never will. Anyway, that was a great game. I think we felt like we were going to get 2 stud games after the dud on Thursday. We knew this was going to be a good one. I think we're going to get another good one tomorrow night. I think we're in pretty good shape on these primetime games, man. I really do. We might get 1 stinker per week. We got it on Thursday already. I expect Monday to be really good with Cowboys and Eagles. Sunday nights had 1 stinker week 1, but that was the only stinker of that week. Thursday night was good last week. So was Sunday night. Then Monday night was trash last week. And we got the Thursday out of the way this week. So they all seem to be taking turns. They're alternating. You know, Sunday was the culprit the first week. Monday was the culprit the second week. And I think Thursday is going to be the culprit this week. So Monday night shows up, delivers. Next week, I think it's going to be a great build-up for a game that's actually going to be a massacre and a bloodbath. I expect the Buccaneers to destroy the Patriots. But it's good theater because it's Brady back to New England. And so we know the crowd will be raucous and there'll be a lot of love for Tom. He'll break the all-time passing yards mark there, which it's fitting. It should happen in New England. But we got ourselves a dandy tonight. And what about the field goal kickers today? While we're on the subject, Mason Crosby, who Aaron Rodgers practically had to beg the organization to not get rid of when he was going through a rough patch about 2-3 years ago, comes up clutch with a 51-yarder to win the football game. And it's on a day where you get a new NFL record that I don't think will ever be broken, 66 yards by Just Incredible, a.k.a. Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker I've ever seen and a future Hall of Famer, if you ask me. Beats the Lions on a 66-yarder. Unbelievable. This is a great finish to what was a really solid day of football in week number 3. So let's get to the comment section. I think I have a super chat or 2. Yes, I do have a super chat. So let's go ahead and knock this super chat out right here from Niners fan. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Niners fan, who writes, terrible game management late. Kyle better get his shit together in the first half next week. I'm not discouraged, but our offense is so inconsistent. So while we're on that subject matter, and I agree with you, I thought the clock management was terrible. And I won't go with terrible because Kittle staying in bounds. He didn't panic, call a timeout. I thought that Kyle Juszczyk needed to get down there, but he's a football player. He's not thinking about getting down. He's thinking about scoring a touchdown. We can take the lead. So you want Kyle Juszczyk to get down into 2 where he gets contacted, and then you got 3 plays with 3 timeouts to get in the end zone. Like if I were the 49ers, I would have not been in any hurry to get in the end zone there. And if I were the 49ers, I'm kicking a pop-up kick after I score that touchdown because I want that return man to burn off an additional 5 to 7 seconds on this kickoff return. Like, these are the things I'm thinking about because every second is precious with Aaron Rodgers on the other end. I would much rather them start their possession at the 33 with, with 29 seconds left than them start at the 25 with 37 seconds left. Like, these are the things I'm thinking about. Maybe I'm too cerebral and I'm too into the minutia and the finite details of the game, but these are the things I'm thinking about. Every second I can take off the clock, I'm trying to do that so that Aaron Rodgers can't beat me. But anyway, I didn't think it was horrible clock management, with the timeouts. He scored a touchdown. What do you want Kyle to do? Let me talk about where I'm upset with Kyle at right now. I'm disappointed in Kyle from this standpoint. In the preseason, I don't know if you guys remember me saying this on the podcast after watching some of these preseason games. I said, man, I love me some Kyle Shanahan. And he's got him one of these RG3, Robert Griffin III style quarterbacks. All right. So in Trey Lance, he's got a guy that he can put together on a weekly basis, a package. I'm not saying he needs to play 20 snaps, but like the 49ers of yesteryear with Jim Harbaugh used to do with Colin Kaepernick, a package each week where you get some Trey Lance. And I said, he's going to get really creative. The only thing Kyle is doing with him is when they get into short yardage situations, they're going to stick him in the game. And I thought they could have done more with his legs and more, just give the defense something else to have to prepare for on a weekly basis. Yeah, we know we're going to get a package so make them have to prepare for that. Take some of their practice time away from preparing for red zone defense or red zone offense because they got to prepare for Trey Lance and the package that they're going to run. He's going to get anywhere from 6 to 10 plays, maybe 6 to 8 plays in any course of the game. I thought we were going to get that this year. Maybe we will at some point, but I'm disappointed that that's not something that they're doing right now. They're not utilizing this guy, and I feel like he could be a big help to them right now because their offense, while it's okay, it's not dynamic. Deebo Samuel is a beast, by the way. It was good to see Brandon Ayuk finally getting on the field and less of Trent Sherfield, but Ayuk had to earn it. And I love the fact that they made him earn it. But their offense doesn't scare you because of its explosiveness. It's just they wear you down. But you bring a guy like Trey Lance in there, and maybe there is some explosion all of a sudden because of his legs. It changes the dynamics of how you defend them. I just thought there would be some more wrinkles to this offense this year. And I've been sadly mistaken to this point. The 49ers are struggling. They're struggling. And luckily enough for them, and this wasn't actually a bad defensive performance by the Packers, even though, how I feel about Joe Barry. But the 49ers have been struggling to score this season. Who they beat in week 1? I'm trying to think. The 49ers playing week 1. I got to look it up because I can't. My brain isn't functioning. I know who they beat in week 2. Let me see who the 49ers played in week 1. They beat up on the Lions. They scored 41 in that game. I remember now. They were up big, 41-17, and almost blew that game. And it was funny. I was watching that game and I was thinking, man, Kyle has got these boys buzzing again offensively. And sure, they've had some injuries at the running back position, and that really hurts them because they lost the dynamic ability of their run game with no Mostert. And then, Jermichael Hardy is another guy that can run, or Hasty, excuse me. He can run. He was injured going into this game, so he didn't play. And so it takes a little bit of the luster off of their run game. But, I thought they would be a little bit more explosive and dynamic. I think they're more closer to what we saw last week against the Eagles than what they did in week 1 against the Lions. And I just don't really feel like Kyle is maximizing this offense like I was expecting him to. And some of that is probably on Jimmy Garoppolo too. Anyway, I digress. Got another one here from Niners fan. Thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Niners fan. Right. Who writes, Jimmy is ass, Lou. Done defending his BS. Start Trey. You don't mean that last part, but you're right. I agree with you. And I said the same thing to start out the show. Jimmy is trash. And I've been defending him, and me and you, I think both of us have been in unison here in lockstep defending Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been keeping people at bay for a very long time, and I'm not doing it anymore. Jimmy did some really foolish things tonight that really hurt you and minimize your chances to win. At the end of the day, he made some throws. They were really contested and tough catches made by his receivers. He tried to get one of the receivers killed late in the ball game, put the ball in harm's way. Luckily, it wasn't batted into the air and picked off, but it, found the ground harmlessly. But I just, when pressure is applied to Jimmy, he panics. He panics. And guys like that, I can't have those guys on my squad. When shit starts to happen around them and it's not perfect, and they start fumbling around and they're scared and their eyes, come from downfield, and now they're looking at the rush and they're bouncing off of offensive linemen. It's weird. When you throw the ball backwards because you're scared, that's weird. Okay. He almost had another one on that last possession when he threw it to Deebo Samuel down, next to the sideline. I was like, is that backwards? Like Deebo's kind of just, the ball's behind. I'm like, yo, you need to make sure that shit goes out of bounds. Jimmy's tripping again. A little bit of pressure around him. Jimmy starts to get claustrophobic and just throws it out there. He stays putting the ball in harm's way. I'm done with Jimmy too, but he gives you the best chance to win. Obviously, that Trey Lance is not ready. That's obvious, because if he was remotely ready, Kyle would have went to him already. And everyone knew that he wasn't going to be ready year one. The guy only had 16 starts in his collegiate career and 1 year of experience at North Dakota State. He wasn't ready. Excellent talent. He fits what you guys do on offense, and he'll be ready next year, But I think this is Jimmy's season. As long as he's healthy, it's his show. And it should be. Even though I don't think he's very good, it should be his show because he gives you the best chance to win. Trey showed in the preseason that he's a turnover machine. He's going to take sacks. Your offense is going to struggle with him. He's going to make some plays, but he's going to struggle with him as well. And I want to say with your defense, but what am I really saying? Your secondary is young, and you're going to get beat, and they're going to make mistakes, and you're banged up in the secondary. I don't really know if that secondary is going to hold up, especially playing in the division that you play in with the Rams, and specifically the Cardinals and the Rams. And then hell, even Russ, even though they're struggling right now, this is not the division to have some suspect secondary play. So I worry about your secondary. I really do. And I thought that the offensive line would, for the Packers, with all the injuries, they would have struggled a little bit more tonight. They actually did a pretty good job of protecting Aaron tonight. I was shocked. So somewhat disappointed in your defense's inability to, make some plays, especially after the especially with the secondary struggling. You needed your defensive line to step up, and they didn't. So anyway, I digress. I think I've gotten all the super chats, so we'll get to some comments. I feel like I'm missing one. No. Yes, I did miss one. I don't know how I missed that one. Sorry about that, Niners fan. My guy, Niners fan, writes, 1, didn't deserve to win this game. I don't agree with that. You guys hung tough. You fell behind, but you rallied back. You fought. You scratched. You clawed. You kept yourself viable. I thought you guys put yourself in a position to win this football game. He says, 2, Jimmy is infuriating. Great last drive, but had boneheaded mistakes. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And 3, our defense is really good. D'Amico is a star. That I don't disagree with the last part about D'Amico Ryans. You could be molding another potential head coach in the making, but I don't agree with your defense being really good. I think your defense is okay. I worry about your secondary. I really, truly do. But we'll see. We'll see how you guys are able to hold up. But I really do worry about your secondary. All right, so let's get to the comment section. And we start with Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Thank you for the comment, who writes, Damn, Lou, we got a good Sunday night football game and a good Monday night game tomorrow, but yet another stinker on Thursday night to start off week 4. What the F? Hey, don't be so quick to be judgmental about that game. Every time we think the Bengals are going to be participating in a trash primetime contest, they always show us up and show us a good time. So the Jaguars were more competitive today, and I told you they would be. Maybe that carries over to this, Thursday night in a short week. The last 2 number 1 overall picks will be squaring off, and maybe all of a sudden we'll get some fireworks, and this will be, 35-30, like we saw with Joe Burrow last year when we thought it was going to be a terrible game with Burrow again and the Bengals against the Browns last year on a Thursday night. And it turned out to be a great shootout in which, if I'm not mistaken, Burrow threw it like 36 times in the first half, and people were up in arms. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to christen any game a stinker that has potential. You can tell when it's going to be a funk fest. Like last Thursday night's game had zero interest whatsoever, unless you were one of those 2 fan bases. And the Texans, they didn't have their quarterback, and it was a quick turnaround for a rookie making his first start. It was going to be a funk fest. I don't know about that one. We'll see. Juan Gotti Talking Sports says, I was pissed about the loss today. Don't get me wrong, but expected the loss. So I wasn't mad we lost. I was mad at how we lost. You feel me? I said the same exact thing. This was a planned loss. Okay. When you go through the schedule and you look at, you start doing that frivolous exercise in futility where you start looking at the schedule and giving out dubs and L's. That was one of the L's on the schedule. So that was not a surprise. It was just how we took the L. And, the conversation surrounding the defense is getting old now. It really is. The defense is, we're going to have to come to the realization that our defense isn't good, which was not supposed to be the narrative. So that's frustrating. Juan also says, I was pissed about the loss today, or he says, hey, Lou, at least we're not the Giants, 0-3. Ha. You could look at it that way. We could have been the Giants very easily. We were an offsides penalty by Dexter Lawrence away from being the Giants right now at 0-3. He says, in Chase's post game, he said, we got to stop. I don't know what BSN is. Is that bashing? I don't know. He says, and if we are going to let him know, because he ain't having that, but it's okay. I don't know. I can't read this comment. Hold on. Let me see, make sure I'm not reading it wrong. And if we are, let him know, because he ain't having that, but it starts with him, captain. Yeah, that's a little convoluted there. I need you to put that in better terms. But I'm going to have to read. I'm going to have to go watch. I haven't watched any of the post-game stuff, which is, I got a glass of wine chilling for me in the fridge. I'm going to sit back, relax, see what everybody had to say after the game, and watch some more football after this is over with. Captain Spartan 04 says, great Packers win considering those refs were against them. I don't think that was the case. I thought the refs were at best bad on both sides. I thought there were some iffy calls. I thought the Packers were affected by the officials more than the 49ers, but the 49ers, I thought most of their penalties were legitimate penalties. But the Packers really were hurt by the refs, more so than the 49ers. I would agree with that. I don't think they were against them. I thought the officials were just too involved in this game to begin with. But anyway, so jealous of actually watching an efficient offense from a play calling to QB to O-line blocking and weapons catching passes. Yeah, your offense, I told you that already. Your offense is terrible. Your offense is trash. You guys are going to be bad this year. Your offense is absolutely horrible to watch. It's hard. It's painful to watch. It's painful. Storm. Or hold on. I think I got a super chat. Let me check and see. Yeah, I do. Lurts of Orthanic. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Lurts of Orthanic writes, is Jimmy's peak being 10 up on Mahomes' boy in Super Bowl? Yeah, that's his peak. He'll never be on that platform again. He'll never be in that position again. Jimmy's peak of his career was that moment and going, 5-0 down the stretch when he first got to San Francisco. I don't think his stock was ever higher than that. 49ers thought they found their franchise guy. All of the networks were going goo gaga over the 49ers coming off of that finish of the season. And they had put them on primetime 5 times that next year, and they stunk. Jimmy got hurt, like week 2 or 3, and they stunk. His stock was never higher than that, because even when they went to the Super Bowl, most people, including myself, were saying, hey, y'all lost that Super Bowl because Jimmy's ass. He's cheeks. Had Emmanuel Sanders open for the game-winning touchdown or inside the Chiefs' 10-yard line, and he missed him by 5 yards. And Jimmy's cheeks. So yeah, his peak is already come. He's it's only down from here for Jimmy, if you ask me. He's keeping the position warm for the young fella, and we'll see how long he's able to, keep him at bay. Storm. A-Rod had to remind us who he is and what he does tonight. Also, how big was that second quarter TD by the 49ers? It's a blowout otherwise. I mean, that kickoff return was huge. That set them up to then get the touchdown and then get the touchdown after halftime. That touchdown after halftime was just as big as the touchdown before it, because without it, it's 17-7, and you're still probably going to lose this game going away. But by scoring the touchdown before and after and double dipping, you go from being down 17-0 to 17-14 without the Green Bay Packers essentially not having a true possession, in that time frame. So it couldn't have worked out any better for the 49ers in that. As a matter of fact, they didn't touch it because the clock expired on the Trey Lance run in the first half. So without Aaron Rodgers touching the football, you cut a 17 deficit to 3. That's essentially what kept them in the ball game. That was a big return there. Atlas. If I were the Niners, I would throw hands at Jimmy G. He almost cost them the game, and they still lost anyway. Jimmy G, if not for that last drive, I think people would be more incredulous with Jimmy G. But I think if you watch the game, you understand the impact that he had with whether it was missed opportunities with throws, the fumble, the backwards pass that he threw, the interception, even though that wasn't an egregious, this is a great play by Jair Alexander. It's not an egregious interception, but just some of the decisions he made in the pocket, him being skittish back there, bouncing off of guys. And, Jimmy G is, and how many times do we see guys have to dive or jump in the air to go get a ball that if he just puts in a good spot, there's so much more yardage there after. Like, that's the hidden yardage that, we don't see or we don't talk about as often, but that's what accuracy does for you. Is it you allow guys to catch it and run. That Mohamed Sanu diving stab, it's a great catch by Sanu. It's a terrible ball. There was nobody around Sanu within a 5-yard radius in either direction. He catches that thing on his feet. He's probably going to get another 15 to 20 yards out of that thing. Instead, he's down right there. Like, it's a terrible throw by Jimmy Garoppolo. But anyway, I digress. Still had a chance at the end. Jimmy did what he needed to do to give him a chance. I put this squarely on the shoulders of their defense at the end. Got to find a way to not let Rodgers get into field goal range in essentially 30 seconds, because they were able to run up to the line of scrimmage, stand there for about 5 seconds, and then spike it. Like, they essentially let Aaron Rodgers get in field goal range with 2 throws in 30 seconds. I don't understand. I don't understand. John Livingston, my guy, JL Smooth, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. And thank you for being a member of the Mob Squad. Mob, stand up. We in the building. Y'all know what it is. My guy, JL Smooth writes, my guy, Lou, they talked about Ron calling Sean McDermott on how he built Buffalo, trying to mimic that formula. Has your thoughts on Heineke changed? Nah, it hasn't changed. I don't think he's ultimately going to be the guy, but as I've said already, he's the right guy for us right now. And that's what I've said. That's how I feel. And that hasn't changed. He's the right guy for this team right now. And I still think he can be really good for us this season. But as far as him being the quarterback of the future, he'd have to play exceptional football. He's still a young quarterback, despite his age, and, he's still a really young quarterback. So it's not going to be perfect, but I just don't think he has the attributes that you're looking for. You know, I think that he can be a really good backup quarterback in this league, one of the best. But I don't think he is what you're looking for as a starter. And I want him to prove me wrong there, but I believe in him. I definitely do believe in him this year, and I think he gives us the best chance to win this year. So we'll see what happens. Lurts of Orthanic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Lurts of Orthanic, who writes, Pitt misses the playoffs next week. They are at Green Bay, 1-3 incoming. Yeah, go ahead and put that down and book it. The one thing that will give the Steelers a chance most weeks is their defense actually isn't bad. Their offense is, though. And their offense is going to hurt them so significantly that it's going to put that defense at risk on most weeks because they're so bad offensively. They're going to tire that defense out, and teams are going to be able to take advantage. They're going to turn the ball over, and that's going to give teams short fields. They're going to go 3 and out deep in their own territory, force to punt, and the other team's going to get great field position. Like, they're going to put their defense in compromising situations all year because of how bad they are offensively. And then when they get opportunities, James Washington is running wide open down the sidelines, and an opportunity to cut this to a 1-score game with 6 minutes left, and Ben overshoots him by 3 yards. You can make any excuse. Oh, he had pressure on him, this, that. Ben stinks right now. Ben is done. He's cooked. Stick a fork in him. He needs to retire. They don't have anything behind him, though, so there's no reason to start talking about, well, put Dwayne Haskins in or put in Mason Rudolph, or they stink. All of those guys stink. Ben's your best option, and he stinks. So they are really in trouble this year, are the Steelers. Big time trouble. Thank you for the super chat. Alerts of Orthanic. Got one here from Emperor Meach. Thank you for the super chat, Emperor Meach. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, how you doing tonight, Lou? I know I'm having a great Sunday. Told you, watching the world burn. Man, when Adoree Jackson dropped that interception, I said, these fools about to lose. That was the game right there. He catches that interception, you win the football game 14-7, and we're not having this conversation right now. He drops that interception. I said, they're going to score a touchdown now. That's the law of the NFL. That's the rule of a missed opportunity late in the game like that. All right. You drop that opportunity, you're going to lose now. It's going to come back to haunt you. And it did. And I know you want this to go exactly the way that it's going. I think your schedule is brutal coming up the next few weeks. It doesn't get any easier. And I don't think the division is going to be as bad as it was last year. So I don't think this is one of those years you can hang in there and, Dave Gettleman can have his job saved because of a bad division. I think this could be it for Dave Gettleman. And yikes. I didn't see you guys getting off to an 0-3 start. I just didn't. I figured you would beat the Falcons. Worst case scenario, you beat the Falcons, but that didn't happen. So you've gotten your wish. You guys stink, and this was a really another poor offensive showing. Evan Ingram with another turnover. Yeah, it's the same song. Shit's getting old, man. Shit's getting old, and now you got to start pointing a finger at some higher ups, and it could trickle down to Joe Judge as well. I told you, when you get into situations like this, you start at the top, but if your coach is an ass and you're losing, it's easy to just quit on them. So, and I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I don't want to, speak to that, but we know what we saw early on, and they're not winning. It could get really ugly really fast in New York. But anyway, you got what you wanted. Let's see what you guys do with it now. Let's see what y'all do if y'all do the right thing and give you what you really want, which is to blow this thing up and start anew. Let's see if you get your wish or not. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, JL Smooth. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Ben is a shell of himself. Throwing a pick into 3 defenders just makes me so much more annoyed we lost to them. They are trash, at least offensively. Yeah, you guys threw that game away, and you know that. You know that. You guys threw that ball game away being over aggressive. Had you just punted, kicked field goals in those fourth down situations, I think you win that football game. But you squandered an early special teams, punt return. I think you ended up getting a field goal on that. You might have gotten a touchdown. But, you're up 10-0. You got them right where you want them. And Josh Allen fumbles. You go 1 of 3 on fourth downs. You get a punt block for a touchdown. Like, they didn't do anything significant. It was all you. And, that's a tough one. That's a bitter pill to swallow now. But if you end up 12-5, you run away with the AFC East and hide, you won't be worrying about that one. I mean, the only way it'll really come back to haunt you is if, you finish 12-5, somebody else finishes 13-4, and that's the difference between you being the 2 seed and the 3 seed. That'll be the only way you're like, man, we lost to the damn Steelers in week 1. That one stinks. But you'll win the division. You'll be in the playoffs. You'll be fine. You won't be thinking about that loss, But right now it sucks because you should be 3-0. Thank you for the super chat, JL Smooth. All right. Let's see where we are. Storm says, also loving these primetime games. NFL has hit it out of the park this year on primetime. What's funny is that there's still people out there complaining about the games. You get 2 great games and 1 dud a week, and they're still complaining. You're hitting at a 67% clip right now, on a weekly basis, and they're still not satisfied. I don't know what else you want, man. These games have been off the charts good. 1 stinker a week. I will sign up for that. Every week we get a stinker. The other 2 are outstanding, phenomenal contests that go down to the wire. How can you turn that down? How can you say no to that? I love it, man. The NFL has been on fire to start. Let's hope that they keep the party going next week. There has a chance to be 2 ass whoopings, though, next week. If the Jaguars come out tripping and Trevor Lawrence wants to continue to throw interceptions and Joe Burrow keeps his interceptions to himself, they could beat up on Jacksonville on Thursday Night Football. And the Bucs are pissed. They got their asses handed to them today, and the Patriots stink, and they can't score. And so that one has the makings of a 38-13 shellacking, if I've ever seen one. So that has a chance to be an ass whooping as well. So we could really see. And I don't know what Monday night is yet next week, but we could see the first week where we get some really big time beatdowns, and the close games aren't as prevalent next week. That could be the start of what might be the end of our great run to start the season. Next week we'll see. I think Thursday has a chance to be competitive. We'll see. Reese says, Lou, 3 words. Aaron effing Rodgers. Bad man. He's a bad man. Okay? He's the boogeyman. He's a bad, spooky man. You give him 37 seconds and no timeouts, and all he needs is a field goal, you might as well go ahead and hit the showers. It's a wrap. And you want to play that soft-ass defense? You're asking to lose. Bad man. Captain Spartan 04 writes, do you know where to go to get some of these West Coast offenses in your team? Well, it starts with the coordinator. You gotta have a coordinator that believes in those principles. Obviously that's not what you're doing in Pittsburgh. So, you got to have those coordinators, the people that have grown up and have been brought up in that school of thought. And that's their philosophy. So yes, indeed. Captain also writes, also, seriously, how did Washington let Matt LaFleur, Sean LeVay, and Kyle Shanahan all go? I know you were 3-13 in 2013, but still, it's really simple. They wanted to keep McVay. They wanted him to be the next head coach. The problem was when he got the job with the Rams, we were coming off of a season where Jay Gruden had just won the division. So we weren't going to fire Jay Gruden. Like, we're not the Washington Capitals in the NHL where you've got this young, hot offensive assistant where you're like, he's the brains behind the operation. So we're going to fire the Stanley Cup winning coach to promote the assistant coach because we think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, only to find out we made an epic mistake. We weren't going to do that. Jay Gruden had just won the division, and he followed that up with another winning season, even though it was 8-7-1. Still, it should have been better than that if our defense wasn't terrible and our kicker wasn't missing kicks. We should have been 9-6 and made the playoffs that year. Either way, the first time in 30 years we had back-to-back winning seasons, which is a joke, which tells you how inept our organization has been. And so they weren't going to fire Jay Gruden to promote Sean McVay. McVay got the job in Los Angeles. Good for him. We were all excited for him. And, once he left, he took some of those guys with him. And that's how it goes, Shanahan obviously left because his dad left, and everybody got run out of town because the owner was a dum-dum and is a dum-dum. And he decided to side with a player who was trash over the guys that made the player actually really good. And so that's why Kyle was supposed to be the coach in waiting after his dad. We always botch the coach in waiting thing. Once upon a time, Joe Gibbs 2.0, we were supposed to have Greg Williams waiting in the wings to be the head coach after Joe retired. No Greg Williams as the head coach. We go in a totally different direction, changes the course of where we were going, which I thought was a really bad look for us. Obviously, Mike Shanahan was supposed to turn it over to his son, Kyle, and that was supposed to be our new head coach. We botched that as well, and that situation didn't end the way that it was supposed to. And then, Jay Gruden and Sean McVay, you could, we could have revisionist history, but I didn't want to do it at the time. I love Sean. I wanted him to stay, but he was too brilliant. He was too brilliant. So, yeah, there's that again. Reese says, don't you just love football, Lou? Games like this is why you love football. What a majestic game. Indeed, Ree. Indeed. This is why you love the game. Absolutely. Got a couple of supers. Let me hit those real quick. Got a super here from, let's see, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, and thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, I'm still salty from the trash I saw in Buffalo. I mean, you should be, but you shouldn't be surprised. But you should be salty about that. I'm not anymore, but I'm disappointed, But that's how I feel right now. Niners fan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, D has zero depth. It's Bosa, Warner, Armstead, or nothing. I feel exactly the same way about your defense. No depth, especially in that secondary. Literally, Josh Norman might have been your best corner before he got injured. He leaves, and I'm like, oh my God, they got the rookie out there. Lenore on one side. I've always been a huge Emmanuel Mosley fan. When he's healthy, I feel like he's a solid corner. But you don't want him being your best guy out there ever. I think he's a really quality number 2. He's your best corner right now. That's problematic. So there's no depth in the secondary. You're right about, I actually like the number, 55 with the big ass elbow brace at linebacker. You guys always seem to find, and I think he's only in there because Dre Greenlaw's hurt. So I think you might have a little bit more depth than you're giving your team credit for at linebacker. But I thought he was flying around making some things happen at the linebacker position. But yeah, the D-line, I'm going to tell you right now, I think you made a mistake, but you did it for financial reasons, and I get it. But Defoe was the better of the 2 defensive tackles. Armstead's cool, but, Defoe's the difference maker. I think this defense is drastically different if 99 is still in the middle of that defense. But, you couldn't keep both of them, and you knew that. So you did what you had to do. But I personally feel like you let the wrong guy get away, but you had to do what you had to do. He was the cheaper of the 2, and you had other guys that you needed to sign, and I get it. But you're right. The depth on this team defensively scares me, especially in the secondary. And I think that's going to ultimately be your undoing if you don't get it done. And I still believe in Kyle, unlike a lot of people. Lurks of Orthanic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I think this is your second one, might be your third. Yes, you did. You had the Pittsburgh going 1-3 next week. Thank you for the super chat, Lurks of Orthanic, who writes, your point about giving good QB's time is so true. They gave Green Bay exactly the same time Derek Carr had in week 1, 37 seconds. Carr and Rodgers both delivered. You cannot give quality quarterbacks an opportunity with with the game on the line like that. You can't. They're gonna get it done. Like, you gotta find and you know, in the Ravens case, I didn't have a problem with them doing what they were doing. My problem because it was a different set of circumstances, right? The problem with the situation tonight was that they had all 3 of their timeouts and they had the Packers on the ropes, and you know who's on the other side of the field. You know who's on the opposite sideline. Like, you know what it is. I take my chances with Derek Carr and that Ravens defense. You're like, okay, we just need 1 sack, 1 pressure, you know, and we can get to Derek Carr. This is Aaron Rodgers, man. So that's frustrating. That's frustrating. All right. Storm. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Storm. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how about that Raiders-Fins game? LV tried to give it to the Fins multiple times, but they refused, LOL. Huge Monday night next week at the Chargers. So that's the Monday night game. Chargers and Raiders. So 3-1 or 2-1 versus 3-0. That is massive. That's a massive game for sure. I haven't seen that game yet. That's one of the games I have to watch. But obviously, that thing went to overtime with the Dolphins scoring a touchdown, getting a 2-point conversion to send it to overtime. So obviously, it was a hell of a football game. I saw Derek Carr's pick 6, so I did see the highlight of that. But I got to watch the entire game to get a good feel for what actually, you know, transpired and took place. So, yeah, that's going to be a massive game. I mean, who would have thought 3 weeks in, the Raiders would be 3-0, leading the division, along with the Denver Broncos. The Chargers would be 2-1, and the Chiefs would be bringing up the rear of the division at 1-2. Same thing with the NFC West. Who would have thought that 3 weeks in, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams would be 3-0, the 49ers would be 2-1, and the Seattle Seahawks would be bringing up the rear at 1-2. Are you kidding me? This season is upside down. It's on its head. It's topsy-turvy. It's crazy. It's nutty. I love it. Want more of it. You know why it is that way, though? Because usually the NFL gives the good teams the cupcake games early on the schedule, and so they get fat, and then we get a good matchup like 5-6 weeks in. This year, they threw the big dogs against one another, you know. So there was no ability to be able to just, you know, get fat like how the Broncos have done. They got fat off some bad teams. They beat the Giants. You know, they beat the Jaguars and the Jets. The 3 teams they've beaten, I think, are winless. Combined 0-9. Let's see. Giants are 0-3. Jags are 0-3. Jets are 0-3. Okay. They beat the arguably the 3 worst teams of football. 2 out of the 3 for sure. The last 2 victories for sure. So they're 3-0. I respect their 3-0, but, you know, same thing you can say about the Panthers. But I respect what they've done. You got to go out and do it, right? But they're putting these big teams, these mega powers against one another. And say, hey, get it done. Find a way to win. And we're seeing some of them struggle this year. So it's fun, man. It's a ton of fun. I mean, the Panthers are leading the NFC South at 3-0. Who would have thought? You know, Saints and the Bucks are 2-1. Falcons are 1-2. It's just crazy right now, man. It's a crazy time to be alive. Thank you for the super chat, Storm. Preston C, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Preston Solgleski writes, what do you think of Bears at Browns game today? Is Justin Fields destined to fail at the NFL level, or is Matt Nagy just a bad coach? Haven't watched the game yet. That's one of the games that I did not watch. I heard that they had like 71 yards of total offense today. Ouch. I already told you Matt Nagy's an absolute shit show. You know, he is the epitome of a guy that thinks he's the smartest in the room and has no clue. And so am I surprised that they had a total of 71 yards of offense? No, not at all. But I told you last week when Justin Fields got in, it was an abject disaster. They only won the game because Cincinnati self-destructed and then tried to get it together when it was too late. So I'm telling you that Matt Nagy is terrible. But if they don't hurry up and get him out of there, he will destroy Justin Fields before someone else has a chance to get their hands on him. So the best thing that could have happened to Fields is that Andy Dalton stay healthy and he not have to play. But obviously that's out the window. This kid could be destroyed before, it's all said and done. But we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I didn't watch that game, but they were destroyed, and the total yardage might not even tell the full story. So I got to watch that game to see, exactly what happened. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Z, we just gonna call you Z. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, hey, I didn't know Eric Reed had a YouTube channel now. Does he? I guess that was supposed to be a joke. I'm supposed to look like Eric Reed. I don't look like Eric Reed. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Let's see. We got a few minutes. We don't have much time left, but I will take a few more comments before we get out of here. Let's see. JC Walter says, do you think Baltimore beats Denver next week? Not if they play the way they played today. They won't beat a soul playing the way they played today. They should have lost today. That was criminal what happened to the Detroit Lions today. Baltimore's got to play a lot better. You can't have, Hollywood Brown dropping touchdowns and dropping big balls down the field left and right. You can't have this complacency. What did I tell y'all on Friday when I gave y'all my picks? I said I wanted to pick the Ravens as my sole survivor pick, but I said when you come off an emotional win like that, it is human nature to have a massive letdown the next week. And they almost had that exact thing happen to them. Luckily enough for them, they have the best kicker in NFL history, and he bailed them the hell out. They should have lost that game 17-16. My heart sank for Lions fans, and Dan Campbell in particular. You should have seen his face at the end of that game when that kick went through. You could tell he just wanted to fall down on the field. Like his legs looked wobbly. He looked like he wanted to faint. He hurt for his team because he knew how hard they worked for that win. They didn't deserve to lose that game. And yet they still did. Anyway. Let's see. I got another super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Pop-Tart Timmy. Greatly appreciate you, and thank you for being a member of the MOBB. And I just want to say, Z, no hard feelings, man. I'm laughing. Trust me. I got a sense of humor, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think you offended me or anything like that because you did. Okay. Anyway, Pop-Tart Timmy says, that's not Eric Reed. That's Josh Doxson. Now, that is someone that I do, or who actually looks like me. I always make sure you guys know that I'm older than Josh Doxson, so he looks like me. I was here first. But yes, now that is someone that does look like me, among other people. But I don't think I look like Eric Reed. Maybe because of my hair. I might, resemble Eric Reed just a tad, but not really. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, Pop Tart Timmy, and thank you for letting them know what the reels is. Let's get back to the comment section once again and see where we left off. Red Wing 01 says, I know you have yet to have seen the full game, but man, the Rams put on a master. Oh, I watched that game already, buddy. I watched that entire game. I watched the TV copy, all 60 minutes. He says Stafford finally gets the team he needs to help him flourish. Yeah, and he missed some throws early in that game. It could have been worse. You know, he had Deshaun Jackson open 15 times for touchdowns in the game, and he missed him. It wasn't until he hit him on the third. The third time was the charm, I guess. He had Deshaun Jackson behind their defense 3 times and only hit him once. He had Cooper Kupp wide open on the first possession, and he missed him. So it could have been a lot worse, but he played well. And you saw how pumped Sean McVay was. Like, this is what the game's been missing in LA. This is what Sean McVay's wanted all along. And now he's got that guy. We'll see if they can continue to do the things that they did today. But they'll have to keep him upright. But if they can keep Matthew Stafford from cracking his thumb on somebody's helmet or, you know, something crazy like that, they got a chance, man, because they're talented on both sides of the football. So thank you for that comment. Make sure I don't have any more supers. We'll take about 2 or 3 more comments, and then we'll roll. We've already hit our hour mark. Let's see. We were right here. And Jonathan Hankey says, sup, Lou? What a game. Very thrilling till the very end. Indeed, it was. Reese says, I love watching Kyle Juszczyk play, Lou. He plays his ass off all the time. Love Kyle Juszczyk. I loved him when he was in Baltimore. Like, the dude, like you said, is one of those guys that you just get maximum effort, and he's a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything on the football field. He can block, he can catch, he can run it. You know, you can run routes with him out of the backfield, which you can't do with most fullbacks. He's just the perfect player for Kyle Shanahan because he's going to get the most out of him. Like, you put him in an offense with, you know, a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay or even a Sean Payton. Those are the kind of guys that are going to be able to milk, you know, a Kyle Juszczyk for all he's worth. And that's why you don't see fullbacks getting the kind of money Kyle Juszczyk got a couple of off seasons ago. But Kyle understands his value to this team and what he brings to the table. Juszczyk is an awesome football player, man. Love that guy. Love him, love him, love him. Reese says, Kyle Shanahan always plays not to lose. He never plays to win. Well, you could argue that was the problem tonight. If he was playing not to lose, he would have been more conservative towards the end. He went for the win, and that's what backfired. Like, dude, take your time. But again, I don't put that on him. Kyle Juszczyk has to he's a Harvard guy. Harvard. He's got to know better. Aaron Rodgers is on the other sideline. If I score this touchdown, and you're asking a football player in the moment to think about too many different variables. Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, 30 seconds left. You know, don't score a touchdown. I'm on the 3-4 yard line. We got 3 times. It's too many things unless you tell them that in the huddle, and Jimmy G's not a good enough quarterback to be able to have the presence of mind to pull his guys in the huddle and say, hey, if you get inside the 5, don't score. We got 3 timeouts. And are you really willing to not take the points when it's being presented to you? Because there's no guarantee that if you get tackled at the 4, that you're going to get in. The 2 is a different story because I feel like you can run it 3 times. You're going to get 2 yards. But the 4 is a different, you know, scenario. So anyway, thought he was a little too aggressive there. Instead of, you know, kind of just letting that clock bleed a little bit more, but whatever the case may be. Reese says, coming down from 17-0 to take a 28-27 lead and then giving up a game-winning drive with 37 seconds left and no timeouts. That's worse than getting blown out. It hurts. It's not worse than getting blown out. I guarantee you 49ers fans don't feel worse than Washington fans today. We got our asses handed to us. It's nothing. There's no honor in getting your ass beat and your teeth kicked into the back of your throat. There's no honor in that. You know, I'd much rather lose a heartbreaker because you can feel good about building off of that. You get your ass beat. There's no building blocks off of an ass whooping. You take your ass home and you try to lick your wounds and figure out what you can do better to win next time. But you come down to the end and you lose this game, you feel like, damn, we had every opportunity to win this game. We know we can play with them now. You know, we got to make some corrections, but we can play with them. If they turn out to be one of the best teams in the NFC, we know we can play with them. But Kyle isn't calling the defense. So you can't blame the ending on Kyle. You want to direct that blame somewhere, you need to go to DeMeco Ryans with that. He's making the calls defensively. When you get these offensive-minded head coaches, they don't have anything to do with defense. It's laissez-faire, hands off. I got the offense. I'm hiring you. You got the defense. I'm going to let you handle that. I guarantee you Kyle has no input on game day with the defense. Zero. Kyle's one of those dudes, and you see this with offensive-minded coaches, Sean McVay, Sean Payton, a lot of times. They have no idea what's going on defense. They're looking at their tablet. They're looking at their play sheet. They're trying to figure out, what are you seeing out there? They have no idea. Something happens defensively. They find out somebody has to come over and tell them, hey, we got the ball, or they hear the crowd going off if they're at home, and that's how they know something big happened for them. They have no idea what's going on defense. Kyle Shanahan, zero input on that final drive. That was all his defensive coordinator, DeMeco Ryans. Anyway, I digress. All right, we'll take one or two more and then we'll get out of here. Reese says, I hate to say this, Lou, but we need Richard Sherman. I knew you was going to say that. I told you, be careful. You're going to need Dick Sherman. You're going to need him. You got a lot of young boys back there and you got some injuries. He said, this secondary is booty juice. We can't blitz the way we do and have secondary play like this. Something must be done. Dick Sherman is cool, but he's not the end all be all. He might be the best thing out there right now, but keep in mind, he's a zone corner. He's not a man-to-man guy. So you have to be careful about what you ask him to do. Todd Bowles wants to blitz and he wants to play man. That is not Dick Sherman's strength. Now, if you can blitz and play some zone behind it, you might be able to get away with that. But Dick Sherman's nobody man-to-man coverage. Nobody's man-to-man coverage. So we'll see what happens. I'll take one more. This one is from Derek B. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, sometimes he's Jimmy G, other times he's G. He said the G stands for Gilligan. You never know which one you're going to get from play to play. And that's the part that really bothers me with Jimmy G. Sometimes he looks like a baller out there. You get that quick release. He snaps that thing off. Tight spiral. It's in there in a second. You're like, man, that shit was beautiful. He snaps it off to George Kittle over the middle of the field. Perfect, in rhythm, in stride. George is able to stiff arm Jair Alexander, get up the field. And you're like, yeah, that's Jimmy G right there. Every now and again, you'll get that drift route over the middle of the football field, play action fake. You get one of these receivers coming on that hard dig, and he'll hit them right in stride. And Deebo Samuel takes off with that thing. You're like, yeah, that's a good-ass throw, Jimmy. Then you get those plays where you're like, Jimmy, what in the hell was that? And that's why I think Kyle and company drafted Trey Lance. Because one, he can't stay healthy, and two, he's inconsistent as hell. And it's hard to win in this league with quarterbacks that you don't know what you're going to get. Not from game to game, not from quarter to quarter, but from snap to snap. When you're inconsistent to the point where I don't know if certain play calls are going to work because I don't know what the hell you're going to do, I got to find somebody else. And that's why they went out of their way to try to go get Matthew Stafford. That's why they tried to, they were interested in getting Aaron Rodgers. That's why they were interested in Deshaun Watson. And that's why they ultimately traded up for Trey Lance. So Jimmy's time is ticking. His days are numbered. The hourglass, they definitely turned the hourglass upside down. And it's only a matter of time before all that sand runs out. And it's Trey area. Got a couple of super chats. And then we'll get out of here. Got a super chat here from Fat American. Thank you for the super chat, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the Mob Squad. My guy, Fat American, writes, "Hey, bro. What's up, Fat American? JDR got me missing Manusky today. What the F? No, he doesn't. Stop. Don't do that. Stop your nonsense. The defense was not good today. You don't miss Manusky. None of us do, and you don't either. Stop." Captain Spartan 04. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Alex Mack washed, felt like he struggled some. I didn't think he struggled from a blocking standpoint. I thought he struggled with snaps. I'm like, yo, Alex, what the hell is up with these snaps that are barely getting back there? I know you old, and I know you've been doing this for a long time. Can you put a little bit more mustard on these damn snaps, please? I feel like Jimmy was having to bend down to catch the ball. One of them skipped back there to him. What are you doing, bro? Snap the damn ball with some vigor. Snap the ball with some life. Jesus. I didn't think he was bad as a blocker, though. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Really appreciate you for doubling up. Fat American, who writes, as a fellow Washington football team fan, I'm here for you, bro. Oh, I'm good. I already told you, you guys are my therapy. After the game is over, just sitting and talking for 2 to 3 hours with you guys is enough therapy. And you guys always make me feel good, because if I wanted to feel down, you guys are so over the top. Like, I talked to somebody today that said, oh, we won in 16. When I see comments like that, it puts everything in proper perspective. We're fine. I'm not worried. Okay. I saw 3-14. I saw 3-13, which you can't be anymore. And then I saw 1-16. We're not winning another game. So I said, oh, I'm right where I need to be, which is right in the middle of the one of the wackiest fan bases in the NFL, but this is what they do. So I feel right at home. I'm good, man. I am perfectly fine now. Thank you so much. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Mr. Manusky was a joke, by the way. Of course I know that. That's why I didn't really give it a lot of, because you said it earlier in the MOBB. I knew you were kidding, man. He says, how do we fix this? There are a lot of different things that can be done, but the question is, what are they going to do? I mean, we can sit here and talk about this and that, but the fact of the matter is, if guys aren't getting it, either they get it or you get them out of there. That's number one. We can't have guys that can't follow directions, because it's not hard. Football isn't hard. People make football harder than it has to be. There's physical limitations, and then there are mental limitations. I can deal with the guy with physical limitations because I know you have physical limitations. I know that you're not the fastest guy, or I know you're not the tallest guy. I know that. I already know that. So I can deal with physical limitations. What I can't deal with are the mental lapses and limitations. If I teach you something, we go through it all week long, and then on game day, you can't get it right. We go back to the drawing board. I show you your mistakes. We correct those mistakes, and you still make the same mistakes. I now have a problem with that, and now I have to get someone in there that can do the things that I'm coaching you to do. So I think that there are a number of different things that can be done, but it's going to take them to make the conscious decision to say, maybe we need to get some different guys in there. Maybe that needs to be done. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. But what they can't do is continue to act as if the defense is fine and it's just this. You remember how, Greg Manusky used to talk about it's a play here, it's a play there. You take this 67-yard touchdown run out of there, and they only averaged 3.5. Well, guess what, Greg? They got a 67 goddamn yard run for a touchdown, okay? You can't take that run out of there. And we gave up 38 points, not 21, 38. That one run wasn't the difference between us having a stellar afternoon and losing the game. We got our asses handed to us, and the run game killed us, and our run defense stinks, and you stink as a coordinator. Remember, he used to always, every week, it's just a play here, play there. Nah, you can't lie to us. It's not a play here, play there. And not to say that Ron and Jack are saying that to us, but I'm just saying they have to look in the mirror with themselves, start with themselves first. Is there something we can do more as coaches to put these guys in better positions? And if you say the answer is no, we're doing everything that we need to do on our end, then now you start to look at the players, then you need to make changes. That's how I feel. But we'll see what happens. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I actually missed the overtime stream earlier. Couldn't stomach today's performance, but on the real, bro, after today, I'll go watch some 2005 D highlights. If that's your therapy, by all means, man, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football overtime. And what a dandy it was. Packers jump out to a commanding 17-0 lead before the 49ers double dip. Right before the half, a big return by Trenton Cannon sets them up in great field position. They get a touchdown before the half. I thought the officials dropped the ball there. Should have been intentional grounding, and the 49ers should have come away with nothing. But they let them get away with it. Trey Lance comes in. They get the touchdown before the half. They score a touchdown after the half. Just like that, it's 17-14. We got ourselves a ball game. They ultimately scratch and claw, stay in the game. Packers tried to run away. They come back after the Packers took a 24-14 lead. They scratch and claw their way back into the game. Packers take a 27-21 lead after Jimmy Garoppolo has a terrible fumble backwards that gives the Packers a 27-21 lead after the defense forces the Packers to settle for a field goal. The 49ers come down the field, overcome the mistake, get in the end zone, take the lead, but they left one of the greatest to ever do it. Too much time. 37 seconds, no timeouts. He gets them down the field in 2 completions. And Mason Crosby comes onto the field and kicks the game-winning field goal. Packers win 30-28. Both teams leave this game at 2-1. So that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. Really do appreciate you guys kicking it with me. Do me a huge solid if you're out there right now and you're watching this and you haven't already done so. Please hit the subscribe button for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and hit the like button, as that helps this channel grow exponentially. Until next time, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man Louie T. Have a good one. God bless. Good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the LouieTeeNetwork podcast and for Monday Night Football overtime. NFC East family business. You know how the family do it. Eagles at Cowboys to wrap up week number 3 in the National Football League. I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.
LouieTeeNetwork.